Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're covering some brand new tie-ins that Marvel just announced over the last week or so. They've been announcing more and more tie-ins for their Fall of X event, which is coming this summer. So we're just going to get into all the new announcements. A bunch of those titles that they announced the names for about a couple weeks ago, they've actually revealed some covers for and creative teams and stuff like that. So we're going to take a look at all these Marvel.com articles and go through them together. So let's take a look at the first announcement here. It's one that I was pretty intrigued about when I was talking about the initial announcements, the initial titles, and that's Uncanny Spider-Man. So at first it would seem that would be like a Spider-Man tie into an X-Men event, which is really weird, obviously. But it turns out it's actually Nightcrawler. So this one, here's the cover, the main cover for this series. It's going to be written by Cy Spurrier, and the art is by Lee Garbett. And from the description, it seems like this is more of just like a continuation of everything that Cy Spurrier's been doing at Marvel with the X-Men. He had, what was it called? The like Legion of X series that just ended. He's had a few different like iterations of stuff that's been following Nightcrawler. But let's just get into it right here with Alpha Flight. So for the first time in a while, we've got a new Alpha Flight series, which is the Canadian super team, like basically the Canadian Avengers, right? So Ed Brisson and Scott Godlewski launch a new Alpha Flight limited series this August. So this is going to be a 5-issue limited series. Here's the main cover here. And it looks like this is like the classic Alpha Flight team. I'm not too knowledgeable on these characters, but in the background here, it looks like maybe there's like the predecessors to them. This seems really bizarre just from an outside look. Like, I don't know if Alpha Flight was ever one of Marvel's best-selling series by any means, since they're like a Canadian team and probably most of the people that buy comics are in the US. I think Ed Brisson might actually be Canadian, so this might be kind of exciting for him to write a team that he grew up with or whatever it might be. But yeah, I don't know how these guys are going to connect to Fall of X at all. There's definitely tie-ins happening from like the Iron Man series and a couple other series that just like aren't connected to any sort of mutant activity at all. So it's really like, you know, a wide-reaching event. Next up though, we're going to talk about Children of the Vault. This is another one of those ones that they announced when they gave us that whole lineup with the initial announcement of Fall of X. So this one is going to be by Dennis Camp and Luca Maresca. This one starts this August, and it's just supposed to be a limited series. But here's our main cover for this one, right? So it follows Cable and Bishop primarily, it looks like. And I guess also Jerry Duggan's X-Men run has been dealing with the Children of the Vault, which I haven't been reading, so I can't tell you guys too much about this. But they're getting their own limited series. It's number 1 of 4. And this is tying into Fall of X, right? So since so many of these series are like 5 or 4 issues, and they're also tying into the Fall of X event, I bet this is going to be really widespread and continue for like, you know, at least 5 months, something like that. This might be a longer term event. But yeah, Marvel taking some risks here. They've never been a big superhero team by any means. They're introduced in Jonathan Hickman's X-Men run, so they're putting out some kind of weird titles and definitely entrusting some new talent at Marvel. We're getting a brand new Iceman series. I think this is just a limited series. Who knows how long it'll actually continue. They could make it ongoing, but this is Astonishing Iceman, right? So Steve Orlando is writing this. He's the one that's writing Scarlet Witch right now. And Vincenzo Cara too. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the artist for that Mary Jane and Black Cat series that's going on right now. Iceman sets his sights on heroic deeds like never before. But as a new situation develops that links Iceman to his Antarctic ice palace, he'll have to be slicker than ever to accomplish his mission before Orcus knows what hit them. And it looks like he's really embracing his Omega level powers like never before. So Iceman becoming a little bit bigger of a hero in this series, getting his own ongoing limited whatever it might be series for the first time in a while. Dark X-Men. So this is going to be done by Steve Fox and Jonas Scharf. And it's starting this August, and here's our lineup, right? So it's a lot of the same people that were on that Hellions team, that Zeb Wells run, where it's kind of like, you know, like B-list villains. Madeline Pryor is also at the forefront of this. Madeline Pryor's involvement in this event might actually be pretty important, as she's now like the ruler of Limbo, right? In that like faction of Limbo, the Hell Dimension that's now in New York City. Just the idea of there being this Dark X-Men series that, based on the description, is like stepping up in like the void that the X-Men have left during Fall of X. They're not really doing what they're supposed to, so these like darker characters are taking on the responsibility. I like that idea. But next up, this is the last like new ongoing new limited series, whatever, new number 1 series that they're actually going to be doing here. This is Realm of X, right? So this is kind of exploring like the Asgardian realms, but it's an X-Men team. Here's the cover for this. It's going to be written by Torrin Gronbeck, and it looks like the artwork here is by Diogenes Neves. Leaping straight from the astonishing events of this year's Hellfire Gala, just like all the other series coming out of this, an unlikely group of mutants find themselves stranded in Vanaheim, And what's even more confusing, the locals seem to believe that they hold the key to fulfilling a prophecy that can either raise the realm to riches or cause it to fall to ruin. Who knows how this even connects to Fall of X? We still don't know who the main villains are. That's why this event is so weird and mysterious. We're just gonna have to find out when it comes out, because this seems completely disconnected from anything else going on, but it's got that Fall of X banner on it. Lastly though, there are just a couple announcements about issues of ongoing series that have already been coming out. They're tying into Fall of X, so we've got some solicitations and covers for here. First up, we've got Immortal X-Men number 14. So description for this one seems pretty important. To me, my no one. In Immortal X-Men number 14, witness the X-Men's founder at his lowest. Xavier had a dream, now he has nothing. He fell and he fell furthest. So based on this description, it seems like it might be pretty important. This might actually be one of the tie-ins that you need to read to understand the main story, since there's no flagship. Next up, though, X-Men Red number 14 is the last thing we're going over today. And the cover here, we've got Apocalypse and, his old wife here. They're coming back after having not been in comics for a couple of years to be part of Fall of X. Ever since Ten of Swords, they had kind of been off the radar. And based on the description, it really looks like this issue is more just picking up on some of the already ongoing plot threads that have been going on in X-Men Red. So that's all the announcement that we have so far. It really seems like some of these series aren't quite as connected as some of the other ones are to the event. I'm a little bit discouraged by all these new tie-ins that they've announced, because some of them are just so random, and they're putting new creators on them and stuff. I feel like it could be kind of a bad creative decision in the long run to have such a weird event, but it might be a little bit more organized by the time it actually comes out. We just don't know too much yet, so I'll make sure to keep you guys updated as we get more details on this event. I appreciate you guys watching. If you did get some good info from this video and you're not already subbed up to the channel, make sure to do that. It's the big button right below the video. I appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.